Let's clarify. We have here two elves, a Thryking, a box with a halfling, a Dune Reaper, a Kire,
and Templar.
and a yes,
Shadow
and,
Bride.
and yes, and a Shafra herself. Um, and I would say that that's as Denise rightly put, this is an exotic city where lots of weird things can happen, and Beastmasters are not unknown. It is a known psychic skill, psionic skill. So therefore, it's it has not been it has not made anyone happy for these creatures to be coming through the streets. And certainly, unfortunately, there's almost no way to be anonymous about this. But I will say also, it may in fact have been a bit of an advantage to Ashafra.
Yes, because
Everybody's looking at the
exactly.
Kire and the Doom Reaper and not at the woman in the hood.
Yep.
Right. So now that I think about it, it's not that bad a thing. However, Halik over here at this door is talking to this person who's inside who does not want you here. This is not exactly what was expected. What was expected was to whisk you inside and take care of you. And instead, the person is saying, they took Bleen away. He's to be executed at the arena. That there is no. Mhm.
Should I go to that place, or should we wait here and do something?
What did he say? He was taken to the arena to be executed. Just that.
Yes.
I know the way to the gladiator pit.
Well,
the point is that we cannot leave Lady Ashatra here in the middle of the street.
Well, and also, I mean, the question is, what do you really want or need to do?
I would like to make a psionic connection to the person who is talking with Malik, and telepathically tell to him, show some respect and hospitality, and you will be rewarded.
Okay. So, yeah, what, that's 2 dice.
Yes. 2 from you,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 from my psionic.
Okay. No pool? Okay, go ahead and roll. And there they are. Yes, it is. So, would you like to say what happens, or do you want to pull?
No, I will take the pool.
Okay. And so the person, is struck by your psionic message, which has a little bit of mind control in it, and
well,
enough to influence, right? To be convincing.
Yeah.
Border between convince and mind control is a little gray, right? Okay.
It was
so,
like
a strong suggestion.
I get it.
Show this and you will be rewarded.
And that one says that it works. So so he blinks and says, all right. And so after informing the Kire, I assume, to take care of things out here. Lay in the shadow, and along with the other large creatures and problematic items. And then the rest of you can head in. Now, so here there is a common room area and much bigger common room area. Back here is more like living space and stuff like that.
How do you get to the upper part?
The upper part, you'll have to take a look at the map. I'm certain it's quite clear. Somewhere. It says up and down and stuff like that. So that's up to you to read.
Oh, there is a trapdoor.
Right. Okay.
So this
so
is
yeah.
up.
Yes. Okay. So in fact, I think that's the important point. The trapdoor would be opened, and you guys get to go up there. And so this fellow who runs this kind of a place to sit and have a cup of water and eat dates and stuff like that. sort of a social gathering place. They probably ferment various desert plants and things like that. Um, you have been shuffled up here, and the first thing is that Shathra's supporter has been busted, and he will explain that um, that apparently her supporters or allies or people who had worked with her as a Templar are basically being arrested or harassed. So this is pretty bad. This is worse than what she had expected coming back to the city. And so clearly somebody is taking an extreme effort to, damage her standing in the city and the support that she might have. And that, uh, this guy is saying, I mean, you might as well just go to the elves. Might as well just go,
And
right.
I think the elves in the room
Yeah.
are just gonna look
Yeah,
at each
exactly.
other.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and then roll eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause
Yeah.
like.
Meaning the Hill
Yeah,
District,
yeah.
into the Hill District,
Yeah.
where people go when they want to disappear or not be tracked. And the and so that's the information so far. He especially says that let's see, what is the person's name? Yes. That the Templar who seems to be taking over all of Ashathra's functions and duties and things like that, her name is Liaza, Leaza, and she is apparently just now assigned, or says that she's assigned to all of these duties and things like that, and that she's not being very nice about it. So that's the problem. Now, this fellow is not an expert on the situation. As I said, this part of the city wasn't really where Ashathra had her authority anyway. But this is what he knows from Bleen and from others. So you're kind of getting secondhand information. So Ashathra is saying, well, we have one chance, and that is to make a big hit in the arena and to and there's to do it without registering, without going through the proper channels to fight a gladiator in the arena. And the only time that happens is when somebody issues a come and take me on challenge, which is the one time that unregistered fighters can jump in and fight. Otherwise, it's very organized, like a tournament and deals. It's like WWF, right? They contract who's going to fight with whom, like in a very organized way.
I'll interrupt and say I can do it.
And Shathra is actually kind of open to that. She says, yes, I think you could. But she says we have several options for who would be a valid fighter.
Can it be a team?
It can be, and so that's a possibility.
Who would they throw against us potentially if we are a team like that?
That's what we need to find out more about. So she asks, what's the word on the gladiators? What's happening in the pit? Well, the big slave trading family
Mhm.
in the whole city, one of the most powerful of the noble houses. It's called Shom, Shom.
Oh, we heard
Shom.
about them last time, I think.
Yes, and they SH.
Very powerful house.
Yeah, and they have been basically winning everything, and their gladiators are apparently altered in some way. Um, and this is not necessarily illegal. Basically, it's sort of if somebody comes up with some way to enhance their gladiators, then everybody else just needs to match it in some way or fall out. They're basically setting a new bar, and that has happened. So already, he we learned that as Shathra's gladiators that were, any influence that she had over gladiators or their owners or the people who ran them, managed them, is gone. There have been massacres, in the pit with the fighters, sponsored by the Aza, and apparently it's in, um, and apparently House Shom is supplying the gladiators, all slaves, to get altered.
I don't.
They also are buying convicts.
Okay. I was going to say, do I know who holds the contract on my brother? I don't think I have
No, I
actually
don't think you.
managed to
No, I
meet
don't think
him.
so. I don't think so.
I think I would have seen him, maybe, like from the upper parts,
Oh, you mean watching?
watching,
Right.
but I have.
Right.
That's why I know he's a gladiator. But I
Right.
don't know anything.
Yeah, you don't
about
know
it.
the politics of it.
That's why I'm
Right.
trying to get.
That's what you're learning now.
Yeah.
So, are you interested in following up on your brother in this sense?
I will. I have now +1 on allies,
Right.
so I can try to get some information about him if we are in any way
Well, here's the point.
at opportunity.
Yes, with a little bit of deliberation, um, Halik is shaking his head and he says, "This is worse than I could possibly have imagined." He says, uh, "Let me go out, and I'm going to go and do some information gathering." He says, I will need somebody with me."
I was already like imagining.
It's like I will need some protection, and he kind of looks back and forth between the two of you.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Can we both?
Give me something to
Or
do.
do you
No.
have a different task for us?
You and the Kire, he wants near Lady Ashaka.
Okay.
And so the idea is, he kind of gives you a look and he says, "No extracurricular business."
No
No,
stealing, basically.
Yeah. Keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, I'll try that.
Right. And so this guy, remember, is kind of an ordinary looking, not very muscular kind of guy, with almost middle aged. Yeah, Palik, yeah. Kind of middle aged, not very chubby or anything, but also not very physically impressive. But you have never really seen him show fear. Under all these different, he kind of lost his cool once or twice, but he has kept his cool through a lot of situations.
I've seen him use a lot of strong psionics. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's powerful mentalist.
He has some sort of.
Yeah. So, but still, I mean, in a place like this where you're asking shady questions and your patron is clearly, if they catch her, if the wrong people catch her, she could find herself, in a lot of trouble, depending on what kind of information they have. So the point is that he thinks it's a good idea to have somebody watching his back.
If you get a chance, I'm talking to both of them, if you get a chance to get information about what sort of gladiators we're gonna face and so on, there is somebody I'm interested in, and I don't know who holds their contract. It would be a good idea to know if there is a chance that they might be opposing or not.
Ashatra looks at you keenly and says, "This brings you here, doesn't it?"
Yes.
She looks back and forth between the two elves and she says, "No, Halik, I have something else for them. Take Axel."
Yeah, but I know.
You clarified something for her. She says, "I need you to go and contact the what are they called?
Elves?
No, no, there we go. Yes, the Sky Singers in the Hill District.
Gosh.
They are the elf tribe who runs all this shady stuff in there.
I
And
will
so
still
if
ask
they,
Alec for this information though.
oh yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
Sky
Well, no,
singers.
that's exactly. But the point is that it is he, she says they are the ones who
Oh,
do
no.
the back betting for the arena. And
Oh,
they
no.
are the ones who manage all the sort of illicit trade of different kinds. And they are the ones, perhaps, who would be the safest place for us to go if they don't cut our throats.
Okay.
Because she's realizing all of her sort of connected authoritarian contacts, they are evaporated.
She's left with us.
Yeah, she's stuck with you shady little elves in
And
there.
we're left with her and the
Yeah.
promise of riches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why you need to take payment in
So she's actually saying, "I'll be fine here. Going to go see the Sky Singers and see what you can discover about the situation with the arena."
Can we make a telepathic link between us two or us three for in case when we go separate ways, if that's the case, it's gonna go down?
Is
Okay.
how I don't know how much skill you need to do something like that.
You don't particularly.
What distance we can have because I have already been in contact with him and
Right.
he's speaking telepathically most of the time also.
Right. Well,
All the time.
yeah.
Um,
He's going with Palik.
Yeah.
You two are headed into
Yeah.
the Hill District.
but he's
Right. And if you two want to connect and make a psychic link between the two of you, which is basically just a speed dial.
can we have the three of us though if we're not at the same time? That's the question.
It's a good question, but there's the possibility that it could be disrupted, and distance will make it weaker.
Okay.
Uh,
But
Potentially.
potentially
A
then if
role
it's not
play.
a continuous link but more like like he wants to send a message to me.
Right.
We have already been connected before, so maybe he can.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yes, with the possibility if there's confusions or
Yeah.
psionic activity going on, that a role would be.
It's gonna be a role.
If
Someone might overhear stuff. We
right,
saw
right,
how that
all
works
that's
last time.
with complications, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And so, let's see here.
I would say lots of elves are pretty good at psionics also, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any benefit to speak telepathically or not. They might hear anyway.
Good to set it up, but not rely on it like it's
Yeah.
a totally secret line.
okay.
So, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens.
Does that mean that the Kiri stays with the Shatra?
It does.
Does she want to?
Yes.
Yes.
So this,
Okay.
she's using the Dune
All right.
Reaper and the Kiri, even though the Dune Reaper is still recovering, kind of as her personal bodyguards at this time.
All right. And this house was somewhere in the Hill District.
No, close to it,
Close
between
to
in
it.
the border of the end of the Reservoir District into the Hill District.
Okay.
In other words, this is still in a sort of decent part of the city, more or less. As you go up into the hill, you are getting more and more abandoned spaces, squatters, people who have reason to use the buildings they're in that they don't want you to know about, and things like that.
All right. I will tell Ashatra that if needed, my Kiri can get contact with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I tell my Kiri, I know it's very annoying.
It is very annoying.
I am sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
I
have
have-
to live for a little bit.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. That's okay. He will, buy meat of, the proprietor will get some meat of unknown origin, for them.